one of the key things that the ministry has extended to us is connection for collaborations and linkages that will see us linked with some of the best universities in the world, in the US, in Europe, in Asia, and other places. And now we are going to optimize on that opportunity and ensure that we get the requisite, manpower to support us in what we are doing. Finally, I must say, university is about continuous improvement. And we'll be reflecting on the milestones that we've set out after 1 year to see the trajectory that we want to take from that point onwards. So, I think we've been rationalizing and harmonizing what we are doing. And initially we had several campuses across the country, but we managed to refocus back to the main campus. I know we've closed a number of campuses in Kericho, Nakuru, in Yala we handed over to Maseno, in Kitale, in parts of Eldoret we had several campuses. And I think what we are trying to do is not really close for the sake of it, but to ensure that we are running the university in a more efficient way and also guarding the quality of the education that we provide.
So we have looked at the issues to do with funding, to do with the management, staff motivation, management of students, so that they are supported to build capacity in their various careers and become good for purpose in nation development agenda of our country. We are also looking at the best ways to mobilize resources from willing partners, friends, and alumni of the university. This university has produced very many people, many of them in the political leadership of this country. Many of them are technocrats in different positions in the ministries of government and in private companies, and they are very successful. We also want to take this opportunity to reach out to them, to think about giving back to the institution that made them, because this is a practice all round in the whole world. I also want to mention that we are thinking about associating ourselves with the best universities across the world, those that we identify that are doing certain unique things that we need to transfer for the purpose of improving ourselves. So the aspect of benchmarking, especially to do with the matters to do with engineering, to do with the textile industry, because we have the Rivertex East Africa Limited, which is domiciled in the university, and it's used for teaching and for practical engagement of students, and so on and so forth. We are interested in working with other volunteers, other well-wishers, and other supporters of the sector of university education to come into the university and support in infrastructural development, in maintenance, in expansion of facilities, because the number of students is ever on the increase, while the funding is static. I want to take this opportunity again to encourage that parents who have students in our universities pay the little fees they are supposed to pay to the universities. It's very little fees, which is 16,000 shillings per year. That is the fees that has been in place since 1990. It has not been increased. And we have not encouraged any university to increase the fees until proper consultations are carried out across board and agreed on, so that these fees can be adjusted according to our needs as a nation. But I've seen where some universities have increased fees without consultations, and this is not going to be allowed because consultations are ongoing. We are having retreats and workshops to discuss with all stakeholders, so that as a nation we discuss and agree together.
All our public universities are going through very serious financial challenges because of the dwindling fortunes of the various income generation activities that the universities were used to, like what we call the parallel program. Since 2015, the parallel programs, as it were, kind of collapsed. And that was financing the universities by about 50%. So what most of the universities are left with is the financing from the exchequer, which has also been dwindling and made worse by other extraneous factors like the COVID-19 challenges and so on. However, notwithstanding, the university education of the universities must continue. So as we went through the workshop, one of the challenges that came through was that Moi University, we are about 35 public universities, is that we must be able to go through some of these challenges. And the reality is, we don't foresee a situation where the exchequer can finance 100% of the financial needs of our public universities. So we are aware of this fact, and therefore, the university must be able to engage in income generation activities to cater for this gap. So we have agreed as one of the way forward is that Moi University, we shall engage in income generation activities to cater for this gap. And one of the activities that we are already involved in is the apple farming. When I talk about the apple farming, I know a lot of Kenyans might not know or might not be aware that we import about 95% of our apple needs in this country. And Moi University is pioneering apple farming. We are growing the Wabogo apple variety. And we welcome Kenyans to our farm because our target is to grow about 1,000 acres. And 1 acre is supposed to give us about 79 million in 4 years' time on maturity. 79 billion. 79 million, 1 acre, 79 million. If you multiply by 1,000 acres, 79 million, that should give you about 80 billion in 4 years' time. It might sound like we are out of this world, but we have done our due diligence. And even if you minus expenditures and so on, and other costs, even if you do your 40 billion in 4 years' time, then you can see what we are talking about. And then alongside that, there will be the value chain, like a factory, setting up a factory, community empowerment and engagement by way of outgrowers, research into that variety from agricultural school. So I'm just saying, in this workshop, we have come up with various ways that we can be able to get our university out of financial ICU, because our universities are in ICU, literally speaking. We have also agreed that we are going to revitalize our alumni association, the way it is done in our schools, because we have done over 110,000 students since the inception of the university. So we can go back to our students. Some of them are very highly placed now, regionally and internationally, and tell them, look, come, let us build our university. Research, we are going to involve ourselves in research. Some of the best universities, like Harvard, in terms of research, they generate about $1.4 billion. Yeah? So no university can grow without research all over the world. So we want to continuously engage ourselves as a university in continuous research and attract the various grants and funds in that perspective. So we are cognizant of the fact that we have, as a university, we have to generate funds, even by cost saving, because like in our university, we have been accused of ghost workers. Of course, we can tell Kenyans that we don't have ghosts. Yeah? okay, ghost workers. We don't have them anyway. We are convinced. But perhaps we have agreed on rationalizing our members of staff. We relook at our members of staff so that we are able to right size, downsize where necessary. If we have a bloated workforce, it's time to relook at our workforce and do it humanly, such that it's not personalized. It is whatever we do is on behalf of the university and for building a better, more university. So some of those measures, cost-cutting measures that we have agreed on is rationalizing our staff, trying to achieve what we have been told, the best practice, 70-30, that we should have 70% of our staff should be teaching staff, and 30% should be non-teaching staff. And perhaps we work around that, and in time we should be able to deliver such that these strikes or picketing that we're having from WASU and the implementation of CBA and so on, we are able to do it. All universities are being accused of non-remittance in terms of KRA, in terms of pension funds and so on. We are committed in more universities, but